Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tennessee Southern. Today we're going to do a how-to video on coal hoppers, loads, that kind of thing. The product that started it all, I can't find any loads for Atlas, BLMA, or not, yeah, BLMA Top Guns. So if you look inside the car, got a lot of nice detail parts. I really don't want to break off in our rotary dumper with live loads. So, my friend Larry Burke showed me some foam loads that you can buy, and they look pretty good. This is one of the first ones I've done up, and it's probably less than $1 a load when it's all said and done. So let me tell you about the types of cars that we're going to try to work with here on the TS. This right here is a Walther's RD4 coal hopper. It has a lot of detail to it. You'll see some old coal residue in that car. I'll explain that in a second. Model die-cast 5-bay rapid discharge hoppers. I believe Athearn is making those as well now, but they do come with a load. So here's a LBF Bethgon coal porter. Also have several Walthers and I believe a few Atlas. These cars usually run in unit trains on the layout, along with the exact rail equivalent to the RD4. So we filled those with rubber coal. It's a it looks good from a distance up close, not so much, but it serves the purpose. Everybody gets it. You know, hey, if you need to nitpick that bad, well, go somewhere else. But anyway, I got a lot of compliments on these cars because you can pretty much dictate how the load is, whatever you want to do with it. Half a car filled or not so much, or a full load. During the October bash, got a lot of compliments on those, and everybody was curious where I got the loads at. So I'll have that stuff up soon. Hopefully I can send this off to a model railroader, something like that, model railroad hobbyist, and maybe they'll produce an article, get enough attention. So, we are going to work on a Top Gun load. I'll show you how to do that. We're going to experiment with the Walther's Greenville 100-ton hopper, which is, you know, used for aggregate service. The Walther's ballast car, and this right here is some more of the rubber product. 70-ton hopper. This is old model die cast. I'm using it for ballast service. I want to be able to set up a scene where put a cross tied down in front of the wheels and you drag it along and it spreads the ballast. I watched that as a kid growing up, where they were doing spot patches of ballast on CSX down around Corbin and area. This is a 100-ton Concord hopper. We load those at 3 of the mines here on the layout that cannot actually load, so we stage the loads, pull the loads out whenever the op session begins, spot the empties back. This right here is a quad hopper. This is a Walther's kit. We're going to make a few loads for that style. Bowser. Notice how we got the nice little detail parts in there. We don't want to damage that. Here's a Bethlehem 3-bay car from Walther's. It's also got the same type of supports. And wood chip cars. We run 3 types on the layout. 2 LBF styles. One's the old straight up and down side, that's pretty common. None currently on the layout, they're boxed up, so my apologies that I didn't break one out. I don't use them that often. NS cars, they don't have any supports, anything inside of those. So we're going to have to build that load up. The Walters car, it's a Greenville hopper also. Lots of little parts in there. So we're going to do loads for each one of these cars. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. So sit back, enjoy the show. Hopefully you can follow along, maybe make some models or loads for your models as well. Okay, continuing on here with the video. What you need to do this project, and keep in mind a lot of this is experimental at the moment because we're doing this together. Sharp pair of scissors, key thing. We got some 3/16 angle plastic. That's going to be for the cars that have the real nice detail parts inside. We're going to build a platform underneath the plastic, and that's going to be the feet. We got some .010 and .020 sheet plastic styrene. The main ingredient, this is Model Train products. You can find them online. This renders about 6 to 15 loads per pack. It's about $6, and I think it's like $1 shipping per package. Essentially what you get when you unroll it, it looks like this. It's already kind of preformed, humped like it went under a loader. A lot of people have asked me whenever they saw the first picture, well, I use like I believe it's called an egg type load. I don't want anything uniform. Well, if you're patient and you take your scissors, you can make it look like a front end loader. I don't know if you guys can see that very well. Like a front end loader dumped it in a car, or it's got an inconsistent look to it from going down the rail and bouncing up and down. Essentially what you're going to get when it's all said and done, there's the load. I put a piece of plastic and I mark it for Top Gun. So the goal is I want to be able to pull these out. So we're going to take some 1/4 inch washers. We're going to hot glue them to the bottom, and we're going to use a magnet to pull them out of the car. And part of the qualifications on this railroad, you got to know what car's what type. I couldn't find any gray paint that I had in the garage, so I'm going to use gray primer for the rock loads. This right here I believe is called Satin Shell White. We're going to use that for the wood chip. We've got two different types of adhesives. 3M Super 77. This stuff works great once it sets up. Lean's Tacky Spray. We have some sawdust. If you're modeling industries in the South, guys, when you're building your layout or cutting some wood, just empty your dust bag out of your chop saw. So that'll do a bunch of loads. Gloss black paint, and I'm actually using HO scale rule. So I mean, it is HO scale, it's easier to read, simplicity. Now, one thing I have noticed about these cars, if you look inside the Bowser car, if you notice these supports sit higher than the car end here on this particular style of car. So I really don't want the load sitting on these because these are pretty fragile. So we'll come up with something here, maybe put some angle underneath the plastic load to hit this so it doesn't damage this. So Stuff doesn't weigh anything. It's easy to work with. And here we go. Okay, so continuing on with the project here, we decided to go with the wood chip hoppers first. And discovering the Walther's car has these braces. Get a little bit, about half a scale foot less in width, and it's going to lay on top of those braces. So now that we got that, we measured the LBF. Fits right in, but without anything supporting it, it just falls right in. So 11.5 scale feet tall for the stilts. And the way I did it, I put some angle on both sides opposing each other. 6 foot scale feet wide. So the way these cars are, when you get them, sometimes they're a little bowed. So that'll help you out a little bit. We'll add weight to them, and we'll save the stilts for last. Because the next step, we're going to put some tacky glue on this and put the load on. So after we cut the load, which will be next.